Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Real Results Show. Although, if you tuned in last week, you noticed that we're doing something a little bit different with the Real Results Show in anticipation for the upcoming FDN conference, which is being hosted at the Hard Rock Hotel in San Diego, November 1 through 3. I literally could not be more excited for this event. It's going to be amazing. And so what we're doing is leading up to the event, we're highlighting all of our amazing speakers and exhibitors that are really our partners in this industry, friends of FDN, ambassadors, because what they offer fits in very perfectly with our methodology and what we're all about. So I'm actually extremely excited to have one of my very good friends and colleagues, Sara Treffert, on with me. She is an FDN practitioner, and she's a clinical consultant for biobotanical research, which will be exhibiting at our conference, and our mutual colleague, Karen Hubert, will be speaking at the conference. So, Sara, welcome to the Real Results Show. I'm super excited to have you here tonight.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me, Brendan. Excited to be here and so excited for the FDN conference. This is I went last year and was not going to miss it for anything, and same with this one. So I'm excited to be attending as an FDN and also for biobotanical research, or biocidin, as many of you who are in the course or have gone through the course are very familiar with.
Absolutely. And, this is going to be a fun convo where, with these mini shows, we're doing 15 minutes. So we have Carrie Jones coming on, but I want to get right into it with, I know Karen is going to have an awesome lecture that she'll be doing at the conference. And so for those of you listening, some of you are FDN practitioners and graduates. Some of you might be trainees. Some of you might be good old people that are interested in this stuff. So, Sara, how about like a brief 101 on what is this magical purple liquid that we call biocidin?
So biocidin is a combination of 17 herbs and essential oils. And for those of you who went through the course, you've learned a little bit about it from a GI standpoint and how to use it. But this combination of 17 herbs and essential oils provides properties. So it's a broad spectrum. So it has antibacterial, antifungal, really antimicrobial properties, as well as being something called a biofilm disruptor, which Karen will talk a lot about. She loves biofilms and why that's so important in getting to the root cause of the underlying chronic conditions. And then it's an immune modulator. So you have this wonderful product that's considered broad spectrum. So it's broad reach and you can use it for a lot of different things. And I know as a practitioner coming out of FDN, you're overwhelmed with so many different options and so many different supplements that you can throw at it. And I know that when you go through the R&R, you look at it and you're, how do I suggest 20 supplements for this person and run all these labs? And you're feeling kind of anxious about it. And that's really what drew me to biocidin and biobotanical research, is because I could use this product in so many different ways. So I'm excited to share these things at the booth, and Karen's really excited to talk about them at the conference. And of course, it is more of a CE, so we will be talking in broad terms when we're talking about the biocidal combination, to be respectful of all the other sessions that are going on. But really, we're looking at the mechanisms of our product line, specifically the biocidin.
Absolutely. I love that. 17 different herbs and essential oils in a magical formula that no one fully knows. It's always funny. I always hear different practitioners and doctors kind of joking about it. It's like, they must be like dumping like antibiotics in here because it kills all the bad bugs so effectively. And it's like, well, hang on a second. Don't compare it to antibiotics because it's way more therapeutic. Antibiotics are harsh and like dropping a nuclear bomb into your body, microbially speaking, whereas biocidin, we see all these immunomodulatory properties. So it's more like using nature to fight nature. And I've always described it as kind of the product line as like a antimicrobial and detox system. That's kind of how I like to think about it. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely, because you're able to use the product in multiple phases of the healing journey. So that metabolic chaos that Reed always talks about, it's able to address the infection, get to the root cause of what's going on, help support the body. So we're supporting it to bring up, remove that metabolic chaos and return to homeostasis. And so the biocidin is able to help at all of those stages and also help support the immune system, which is so important. Take those training wheels off. And so you're not on the product long term after your protocol is finished. You complete it, you know that your secretory IgA is back into normal levels, your immune system's in good shape, and now you can come off of those products.
Absolutely. And I'm really excited because most people that know who I am know I'm a big organic acid nerd and kind of mold microbes methylation, which is literally the title of my lecture at the conference and the title of the course that I'm releasing. We're doing the organic acid workshop. So I'm very excited to have BioBotanical there and being able to represent, because I referred to biocidin probably like 50 times throughout my course because I literally use it in, as you said, kind of the supplement graveyard, right? There's so many different antimicrobial things and gut support and whatever. And so it's like, oh, you've got all these different bottles of things. And it's like, I use biocidin every single antimicrobial protocol with every client. And sometimes it's the only thing that you need. And sometimes less is more.
Mm-hmm. And that's the wonderful thing about it, is that it's this product that you can use from infant to elderly, head to toe, internal, external. That's a big bomb that I just dropped on people, because if you think about it, wrapping your head around that, I can use it for an infant for something like oral thrush. They have candida overgrowth, something of that nature. And you can also use it for someone who has Lyme's disease,
Mm-hmm.
that's, say 300 pounds, that you adjust depending on what you're trying to address. And of course, we're never diagnosing or treating. We all know that, but we're helping the body, we're supporting the body so it can heal itself. And so these ingredients help with that. And so it's just so refreshing as a practitioner to be able to have this in your arsenal, like you said. So this never goes into your supplement graveyard, because it is always so useful in so many different modalities.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. If I took you all on a tour of my bathroom right over here, I've got like all my tinctures and bottles lined up by my sink, and got the throat spray, my dental Dentalcidin toothpaste, and my dental Dentalcidin swish and spit, my liposomal, my biotonic. Like I got the hookup over here. And like you said, it cuts down a lot. You don't need so many. And actually, in my lecture at the conference, I'll be presenting a case study of Lyme, mold, autoimmunity, H. pylori, blastocystis hominis, and I'll show it where biocidin was the main component of the protocol. That, well, you guys will just have to come to the conference and listen if you want to hear how that turned out. But it went pretty well. So with biobotanical research, I absolutely love. Like, I want to pause for a second and really point out biobotanical research. What I love about the company and why I'm such a huge fan and advocate of biocidin and the whole product line is because it is a research-based company. And I think that is so respectable, because we all know the supplement industry can be a little crazy, products popping up left and right and all sorts of claims and sensationalism. But there's a very, very, very small amount of companies that are really paving the way with research, and biobotanical research being one of those. So I'd love to hear you speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And that's something, as a practitioner myself, that's why I work for the company. And, seeing it work in my personal life and also in my professional life, and always going back to that, and then being confident that quality that's behind it, and then the testing that we've done, and all of the clinicians have used it. It's not just some willy-nilly product. It's been around for 30 years, and it started by Dr. Rachel Fresco, who's still the owner and founder. She is so meticulous in the quality
Mm-hmm.
of product and making sure that it's not, she's a practitioner herself, and she has a background in Chinese medicine. She understands herbals and making sure that she's providing therapeutic amounts in these products. And then it's also being tested to make sure it's effective. And that's the cool thing, because you now have a product that you're using. It's a curated line. There's only 10 products. 6 of those have biocidin in them. It's just different delivery systems, like you talked about, the toothpaste and oral solution and throat spray and such like that. And then 4 support products that do not contain any biocidin. So you really have a complete microbial solution that's been tested. And we have some research that's been published, and then a lot of research that are just clinical trials that haven't been, but the data is still there and the testing is there to show the proof is in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
absolutely
really exciting to see that. And so you can feel comfortable, especially since we're not prescribing, we're not diagnosing, we're not treating. But what's cool is we can use these products and we see our clients getting better.
Mm-hmm.
You feel confident that you're not going to hurt them. And that's the other really cool thing for the safety. For 30 years, biocidin has been used. So you just have to know how to use it, because it's very, very potent. It's, you know, it's a professional strength product, but it has so many applications, and it's kind of a dream for practitioners, because it is a go-to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, you know, it really is pretty remarkable. And with, you know, I think I'll be speaking on it a bit, or I think I have some slides in my course, but, you know, with, we're in this chronic disease epidemic. I always love getting on soapboxes about that, but I'll refrain for tonight. But, you know, when we're looking at chronic disease and the epidemic that we are facing, something I teach in my course that I'm getting ready to release is, you know, I really like to look at it of like, well, what's really driving chronic disease? Well, primarily inflammation, oxidative stress. So then, you know, we kind of have to ask ourselves, well, what are the underlying triggers that are driving inflammation, oxidative stress? And you know what? Like, I would say at least 90% of the time, or all the time, there will be a microbial imbalance and a toxicity component that is always going to be a factor. And very often, I would say 90% of the time, is the number one driving factor, the bugs and the toxins, which is why a very simple and yet sophisticated antimicrobial detox system like BioBotanical Research products, that's where it's at.
Right. It makes life so much easier. And so what Karen is going to be presenting on is reducing the toxic load and body burden by setting the microbiome with botanicals. And so it's really looking at every single area of the body and realizing that you can have infection and you can have dysbiosis throughout the entire body, and you have to get to the underlying cause. We talk about the root cause. You know, you want to be their last stop. And this is another way that you can be a hero and make sure that you are the last stop for them by using something like these to address so many different areas of the body, whether that's, you know, nasal, oral, GI, topical, it ends up affecting the liver and the kidneys and the heart and all of these areas that come down to these chronic infections, these low grade maybe that they're not even considered chronic, you know, to them, and getting to that, you know, dysbiosis, even constipation. Why are they having that? You know, it can be something simple like that, or it can be much more involved, all the way to a diverticulitis or Crohn's colitis, you know. So these products are pretty cool from that standpoint of having, you know, these little, you know, quivers or arrows in your quiver, excuse me, to use. And so coming to Karen's talk, she's going to go through really in depth and understand where these infections come from, where they hide in the body, why they're there, and then cleaning up, not only just using botanicals, but we're also a resource. And so we want to make sure that we support our practitioners, that we're providing things like other areas to think about that make the botanicals more effective. So looking at environment, and maybe that's one of our pillars that we talk about, but talking about, you know, cleaning up your environment with outside toxins and then inside the home, things like that, and your food supply and mold and mycotoxins, which Brendan, you're very, very familiar with. But she'll be talking about all those kinds of things, and a little exciting bonus. For those of you who are going to be watching and coming to the conference, make sure to come to our session, because there will be a special treat for everyone that attends Karen's session, and you don't get it if you don't come.
I love that. I love me some goodies. I hope it's some throat spray or toothpaste or something cool. You don't have to give it away. Keep it a secret. Keep it a secret. I love surprises. Awesome. Well, I couldn't be more excited for the event, and I'm so happy to have you and Karen there, and I'm super excited for Karen's speech. I could, as we all know, I could literally riff about this stuff all night. I see Carrie. Well, I don't see her, but I see her name down in the lobby. So, Sara, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure we'll get to talk soon, my friend. And this was really an amazing kind of, warm up for the upcoming conference.
Perfect. Thanks, Brendan, and thanks, everyone. And excited to see you all at the FDN conference in less than a month.
Awesome. We'll see you there.
Have a good night.
Bye. All right, Carrie, can you hear me? It's like the settings look good, but there's no video or audio feed. Shoot her a message real quick. Oh, and while I'm doing this and trying to help get Carrie connected, which Carrie, if you can hear me, you might want to exit out and then try to get back in. But while I'm doing that, guys, for those of you listening, you can drop the word rock, as a lot of people have already done. If you want to learn more about the FDN course, again, if you are maybe a health professional, or maybe you're not a health professional, but you want to become a health professional, you can learn more about the FDN course and curriculum by dropping rock in the chat box below. And certainly, we would love to see any of you, all of you, attend the conference. It's not just for FDN practitioners or graduates. We open it to the public, anybody that is interested in becoming a part of the best tribe around. I think Carrie exited out, and I think she'll, probably, it's still bringing her into the lobby, or bringing her, it's still dark. Can you hear me? I wonder if she can hear me, but I can't hear or see her. I wonder, are you on Google Chrome? That is the question. It does run better on Google Chrome. And tech difficulty, question mark. On Chrome. Carrie's awesome. So how about I brag on her a little bit while while we tried to troubleshoot while on live camera. Fortunately, I could do this all day. I mean, we could go into a soapbox dialogue if we want. But while we try to work on getting her connected, hopefully we're able to do that. But so Dr. Carrie Jones, good friend of mine, she is the queen of hormones. She is very well known in the functional medicine industry as really the leading authority when it comes to definitely women's hormones, and probably just hormones in general. So she is the medical director for Precision Analytical, the makers of the Dutch test, a test that I love and I use with all of my clients. I honestly couldn't tell you how many I've run or looked at with clinical advising with other practitioners. So homeboy here has seen a lot of Dutch tests in my day, and I've got to say it's an extremely valuable test. Just my personal professional opinion, it's my favorite hormone test by far, because it is a urinary test. We're able to not only look at your major hormones like cortisol, estradiol, testosterone, progesterone, etc., but even more fascinatingly enough, we can look at hormone metabolites. So we can be looking for example, one of the most robust sections of the Dutch test is the estrogen metabolism. So we're not just concerned about your primary estrogen levels, but we're also concerned about how well is the body metabolizing and clearing these hormones out of the body. So, for example, with estrogen dominance, which is extremely common, and there's kind of different types of estrogen dominance, if you will, but nonetheless, we have to be looking at these detoxification or metabolic pathways of how we clear the estrogens out of the body, because you could have normal amounts of estradiol, but still have all sorts of symptoms. Hey, there she is. I can see her.
I hear you. Okay,
yes,
wait, hold on.
Yes.
Let me figure this out. Hold on.
All right, there she is.
Holy Moses. I don't know what happened. I've done this before, and it was like 3, 2, 1, and then it was like completely blank. And I'm like, that's not cool.
It's all good. Technology. We're
I know.
Here now.
Like,
well, you look lovely. How's your day going?
It's good. I have my dog right here who insists to be by my feet, and now that I have technology figured out, I'm all ready to go.
Is that Hank the Fox dog?
It is. Of course, it's Hank the Fox dog. Of course, it's Hank the Fox dog.
I don't. Am I hallucinating, or do you have an Instagram page for Hank the Fox dog?
Oh, I'm extra. Of course, I have an Instagram page for my dog. Are you kidding? Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta follow Hank the Fox dog on Instagram, as everybody else should. Well, I was just bragging on you and the Dutch test for a moment or two while we were I was talking about why it's the coolest test ever, but I'm gonna pump the brakes on me blabbering. I want to hear it from what I just called you, the hormone queen herself. Tell us about the magical Dutch test and why it is the best hormone test alive today.
It is the best hormone test alive today. I agree with you 100%. So it's a dried urine test, which everyone always is like, what's that mean? It basically means you just urinate on these pieces of filter paper 4 times, sometimes 5 times during the day. If you want extra data, we do include a salivary section to it, which is 5 cotton swabs that you just pop in your mouth and get wet throughout the day. And that's what I'll be talking about in my FDN lecture when I talk about the cortisol awakening response. But the bonus of the Dutch test and it being dried urine is that you get all these super cool pathways. So lots of people are familiar with like ordering an estradiol. They get their estrogen tested in the blood, but they just get one marker, right? They don't know where it goes. They don't know how it goes through detox. They don't know, if phase 1 is okay. They don't know if phase 2 is okay. And the Dutch test can give you that. You order a testosterone and you get a testosterone and that's it. But let's say you're female and you're also having cystic acne and you're having hair growth in places you don't want it and all these symptoms like PCOS, but your testosterone looks normal and everyone's like, oh, that's weird. We can give you the pathway it's going down, and some of those pathways, the alpha pathway is what causes the acne, the hair growth in places we don't want, the male pattern baldness, things like that. So we add these extra pathways to give you more comprehensive information beyond just like a single test, right? A single blood draw or a single salivary test. And then we add in all the adrenal markers. We add in melatonin. We add in cortisone, which is the inactive version of cortisol, because some people don't have cortisol, not because they don't make it, but because they're deactivating it. And then we add in some organic acids. We are not an organic acid company, but we do add in some organic acids that are specific to hormones. So like B12, B6 markers, glutathione marker, your adrenaline marker, adrenaline metabolite, dopamine metabolite, and then a DNA damage marker known as 8-OH-DG. So we give you a lot.
It really is. It's just a staple test. And so you're lecturing about cortisol awakening response? Is that what I heard?
Lecturing about the cortisol awakening response and how it affects like inflammation, memory, recall, and autoimmune, which is my absolute favorite part of the cortisol awakening response.
That's going to be awesome. I think I've lost track of how many times I've heard you lecture this year, but it's just always, there's always something new and another good little pearl. And I'm so excited. Literally today, I've got this microphone over here. I was recording modules for my organic acid course I'm releasing, and I'm actually including a whole module about Dutch and in particular of looking at mold patterns that the Dutch test reveals. Like you wouldn't necessarily think, oh, I'm going to get information about mold toxicity off a hormone test, but
It definitely can affect for
Just
sure.
wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, it
wait.
can definitely affect. Just like, I mean, any inflammation, we have like inflammation patterns that we see on the test. It's kind of like thyroid. We see thyroid patterns on the test. We're not a mold company. We're not a thyroid company. That's not what we test. But obviously, the whole body's connected, right? The knee bone's connected to the hip bone, and as a result, if you have mold and mold exposure, it's going to show up in your hormones as you're going to
Totally.
get this like crazy kind of inflamed pattern look to you.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
those are literally like, when I'm taking on a new client or whatever, I've really only got a few non-negotiable tests. My good old oat, my Dutch, some blood chem. And actually that's it. Those are
Not a
my
stool
three
test.
I mean, I like stool testing. I use it. But I mean, my non-negotiable, if I can add a fourth, it's probably a stool, but those are my three. Got to have those three. Otherwise, don't get in front of me.
Right, right. It gives you a lot of information, that's for sure. I mean, you can definitely, between the story, the history, and the lab work, you can come up with a lot.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
certainly we're so excited. Your room is going to be filled as it always is. I've gotten so much feedback from my tribe, and they're all just raving. They can't wait to see your lecture, and it's
I
going to be
have
amazing.
40 minutes, and I've 80 some slides. I was
Ooh,
like, I can do it.
ooh. I
I
was going to
promise I can
say,
do it. At the very least, it'll be like really, some of the slides will be really great resources for people where I won't go deep into dosages or every single effect maybe an herb has, but I'll just say like this is the herb we're going to use for cortisol awakening response. Here's other stuff it does, and you can look at the doses there. And yeah, we'll move fast, but it'll be a lot of cool information.
totally. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I think we all get like 45 minutes. I was because we had to turn in our slides by today, right?
I
Did you
turned it
get
in yesterday. Yeah, I turned it in yesterday.
yeah, as did I. Spent like 2 hours, and I kind of did like a trial run. And I literally was thinking about you because I think I have like 65 slides,
Mhm.
and I was like joking to myself. I'm like, oh, geez, I'm pulling a Carrie Jones here.
Many a conference I've had to email and explain myself. Like, I know it's a lot of slides. I promise you I can get through them.
You
Because I'll
know,
often get an email back from the organizer like, you realize you only have 45 minutes. I'm like,
you
I can
always
do it.
do though. Like
Hmm.
every time, and you do it so well where it's like you do talk relatively fast, but you're such a good presenter, lecturer. So you do such a
Thanks.
good job. But really though, like you do an amazing job of covering a lot of ground, but making it like both scientifically in depth, but still very understandable. And
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that's why everybody just loves the hell out of you. So
Aw, thanks.
yeah,
Thanks. It's definitely my goal to make the complicated easy so that people
yeah,
can understand it and use it for their own health journey. Hmm.
totally. What's
Yeah.
funny is last year's FDN conference, the very first, the inaugural FDN
Yes.
conference.
Yes.
First time I ever got to meet you, and I remember you said to me, you were saying how Brennan, I've been to a lot of these conferences, but this one has such a special energy about it.
Mhm.
Everybody's
Mhm.
so energetic and enthusiastic. And at the
Mhm.
time, I didn't know what the hell you were talking about because that was my first big boy conference.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But then after, I think I've racked up like 20 conferences this
Mhm.
year, and you were totally right.
Yeah.
There definitely was something very special about that energy. So I'm super excited to see what year two brings.
I know, it's very cool. I think when you're in a community, but you don't get to see each other and live in person all the time, but you talk and you're in groups and chat rooms and classes together, um, so when you finally get to see each other live in person, the energy is just palpable. Like everyone's
Totally.
just so excited versus some of these conferences where just, a couple hundred random people sign up and it's a good conference. It's good content in other places, but nobody knows each other. Those couple hundred
Hmm.
people, they're not in groups together. Maybe one or two people or a handful of people will know each other because of social media or other things. But I've definitely been to conferences where I don't know a single person in the room, and you just sit there and you're kind of all by yourself or you meet the people next to you. But the FDN conference was definitely different because I had already known so many people working for Dutch and on social media. And then I got to see them live in person like yourself. And it was like tons of pictures, tons of hugs, really good energy because everyone just wanted to connect and everybody wanted to like, see their new best friend live in person and learn at the same time. Like the material and the content was just really great. And so it was just a fun weekend. Plus it's in San Diego. So when you come from Portland, it is pouring down rain here because of the unfortunate, big storms in Japan pushed across the trade winds and now we're getting hit with it. And so I'm really excited to see some sun.
Yeah, I bet. I keep thinking like homeboy here needs to maybe get out of Kansas. I'm like,
You've been saying that for a while.
I have. I'm looking at like Portland or, then like Scottsdale or whatever. But yeah, San Diego, it's going to be beautiful, especially this time. Here in Kansas, it just turned to fall real quick, like overnight.
Yeah, same. All our trees are like, red and orange suddenly.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
It'll be
and I was
good.
just in San Diego a couple weeks ago for a different conference. And man, it was, we were just around the corner actually from the hotel we were at last year for FDN. And it's, beautiful weather, beautiful water, beautiful harbor. So
yeah,
I was
down in Florida for the A4M thing. And I mean, I haven't been to Florida a lot, but, it's like paradise weather down there all the time. So,
all the time. I know a lot of people that I spent a lot of time in Florida just I grew up in the Midwest, more Midwest than you. And so Florida was easy to get to. It was drivable and family vacations. And I lived in the Florida Keys for a while. So
very cool.
It's pretty awesome. It does get humid.
It does. It does.
You have to watch out for hurricanes
and alligators.
And alligators. Yeah, I'm a little. Yeah, I'm not as concerned with the alligators as I am with the hurricanes. That's
no joke.
Yeah,
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
You were well. I mean, obviously, because Portland's your hometown. But I saw you were at Tina's summit, and I saw some bits of kind of your talk that you did.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of just mention that, give props, because, I think kind of the naturopathic community, I really am loving, like, I'm so inspired by what I see about what you and Tina are doing with, really leading the naturopaths into kind of the modern era of functional medicine and all this stuff. So that looks like it was a lot of fun.
It was a ton of fun. Unfortunately, I missed the first day. I was lecturing in Kentucky. My soaking wet. Apparently, my dog was outside because he just showed up soaking wet. Awesome, Hank. Thank you.
Thanks, box dog.
Yeah, as he just shook all over. I was like, why am I wet? Oh, the dog is wet. I was in Kentucky lecturing, so I flew to Kentucky, lectured the next morning, and then flew back that night so I could make Tina's, because it was really important to me to support my fellow colleagues and naturopathic doctors. And she's amazing. She hosted this super successful, high energy, great motivation with great speakers. Very much like we were talking at the conference last year, there was like tons of pictures, tons of motivation. Everyone was, taking lots of notes. And I'm just really honored to have been a part of it. This year, I wasn't able to make it last year. I was in Australia last year, so I couldn't go. This year, I rearranged everything. I'm like, no, I'm going to Doceri. I have to. I'm going to support this. So it was a fantastic time. Good education.
Yeah, it looks like it. I told her I got her hooked up with some supplement samples at the very least, and I was kind of bummed because I was already committed to speak in Florida, but I already told her, I was like, Tina, I will be there next year. Like, count me in. I will bring the samples in person next time.
Yeah. And it was in a really fun location too. So just all around, it was a really good representation of Portland and the naturopathic doctors, and then, kind of what we represent for the future. So that was motivating.
Absolutely. Well, this is going to be amazing. I want to keep you all night, even though we could certainly talk all night. But, I'm truly so excited to have Dutch represented at the FDN conference. And I know you're going to crush it with your lecture. I'll be sure to be your mic boy so I can introduce you again.
Perfect.
Yeah, it'll be amazing. But, thank you so much for popping on. We're trying to, build some hype and get everybody super jazzed about it. So kind of a little teaser 15-minute episode here.
No, absolutely. No, I'm super excited. Head back to San Diego.
Totally.
I know, just
2 weeks. Right around the corner. Do you have any? I was going to ask. Yeah,
I'll be in LA next week lecturing, and then FDN, and then I come home, and then I fly right back out to Toronto. And then I lecture out in Toronto.
Ooh, see, I've got Seattle next week and then San Diego and then Tucson.
Oh, nice. What's in Seattle and Tucson?
I just get on the plane when they tell
Oh.
me to get on the plane.
Nice.
I'm not really sure yet. I'm going somewhere and doing a thing.
I love it. See, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well,
Very
Carrie, I
cool.
can't wait to see you in 2 weeks. I'll give you a
I
savage
know.
hug.
Love it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
it'll be great.
It'll be
Thanks
cool.
for joining me.
Anytime.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
glad
think
we got the tech issues. Glad I figured out
Oh,
that.
I
I
know.
was like,
Yeah.
what? I'm so close. I'm so close.
It's so close. I know. It's like
But I got it
you were
figured.
there, but not there, but we're
Yeah.
good. Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Much love to you, my
Cool.
friend. Enjoy your night,
All
and I
right.
will see you
Thanks.
in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.